Hello, sports fans. It is Thursday, December the 27th, the year 2012. And as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Believe it or not, we are headed into Week 17 of the NFL season. Where did the NFL season go? How fast does time fly by? We're already in the bowl season for college football, and here we are the last week of the NFL season, and then we hit the playoffs. Unbelievable how fast football goes by. Very tricky week to pick NFL games because you don't know who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's going to play a quarter, a half, who needs the game, who doesn't need the game, who's going to rest players. Very jumbled week this week. Let's try and do the best we can here with the picks. Let's get to it right now. Let's go to the first game. The Atlanta Falcons at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This game is off the board, and here's why. Atlanta has nothing to play for. I mean, they've sewn up the top seed in the NFC. They have nothing to play for. The coach is talking like this is the biggest game in NFL history. You know, he's saying this is a big division rival and we need this game and blah, blah, blah. I mean, he says he's going to play his starters, but for how long? I mean, yeah, I'm sure Matt Ryan will get a couple series, but I can't see him going past a quarter here. For that reason and that reason alone, I am going to take Tampa Bay. I say Tampa Bay plays hard all four quarters and plays their starters all four quarters. I say Atlanta, after a few series, gets everyone out of the game, regardless of what the coach says. I'm going to take a shot and take Tampa here. Now, if Atlanta played their starters the whole game, I obviously would take them. I don't think that's going to happen, so I'll take Tampa Bay here. Let's go up to Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills at home, -3.5 over the New York Jets. Two hapless, miserable teams that are going nowhere. The Jets say they're going to play all three quarterbacks. All three of them can't play. The Bills are home. I don't love them, but they are home. I don't love the Jet quarterbacks. I'll take the Bills. I think this is a miserable game. I'll just take them because they're home. I mean, I have no other explanation for this game. Let's quickly move on from it. I can't take those two teams. Let's go over to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals at home, -1 over the Baltimore Ravens. Here's another tricky game. The Bengals are locked into their wild card spot. The Ravens are in the playoffs. So who do you take here? I mean, I guess I'll take Cincinnati because Baltimore's been a bad road team, but a very strange game to pick. I'll take Cincinnati just because they're home. Let's move on. Let's go to Detroit. The Chicago Bears -3 over the Detroit Lions in Detroit. The Bears need to win and hope Minnesota loses, so the Bears have a lot to play for here. The Lions have been atrocious this year. They've found new and creative ways to lose every week. They move the ball up and down the field. Then they commit turnovers. Their defense has been horrible. Their special teams even worse. Their coaching staff even worse than that. I will take Chicago. They have everything to play for here. Urlacher will probably be back. I love the bad defense. I don't like much about the Lions. I will take the Bears here. Let's move on. Let's go to another miserable game. The Tennessee Titans at home, -4 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, is this not another terrible game? I mean, how many people are going to show up to watch this game? I mean, what an atrocious game. Jacksonville has 2 wins this year. They actually beat Tennessee. That's one of their wins. I don't know what to make of this game. I guess I'll take Tennessee because they're home. I mean, maybe Johnson gets a big run in there. Maybe they're inspired to win their last home game. I mean, another just miserable, miserable game. Let's quickly move on from that game. Let's go to Indianapolis. Here's a tricky game. The Houston Texans, -7 over the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Colts get their coach back, but the Colts are locked into their wild card spot. What do they have to play for? The coach says he's going to play his starters, but again, for how long? The game is actually more important to Houston. Houston needs to win to hang on to the top seed in the AFC. I mean, who knows about Foster? He had an irregular heartbeat last week. He says he's fine. We'll see if he can play. I don't know what to make of this game. I mean, normally I'd say that the spread is completely too high. I mean, the Colts getting 7 at home. The Colts don't need the game. They're probably going to pull their starters, and Houston needs the game. I'll take Houston. Very tricky game, though. Let's go to the Superdome. The New Orleans Saints at home, -5 over the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have won 3 in a row. They're showing signs of life. Cam Newton looks a lot better. The Saints are still fighting. They beat Dallas. They won the week before. They're up to 7-8. They could finish at 8-8, which, considering all the problems they've had this year, wouldn't be bad. Tricky game. I'll take the Saints just because they're in the Superdome, and I love those fans down there. They're crazy. They're wild. The Saints play very well in the Dome. I'll take the Saints. Let's move on to the Meadowlands. The New York Giants at home, -7 over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants obviously need to win. They need a lot of help. They need the Bears, the Vikings, and Dallas to lose. Not impossible. Likely, not really. I mean, I think the Giants are in trouble. I mean, there's no way all these things are going to break right for them. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Probably not. I still like the Giants to take care of business here. Mike Vick probably will quarterback for Philly. Foles is on injured reserve with the broken hand. I'll take the Giants because they have everything to play for, and Philly has nothing to play for. I'll take the Giants here. Let's go to Pittsburgh. Here's another wacky game. The Steelers at home, off the board with Cleveland, because we don't know who's quarterbacking Cleveland. Whedon looks like he's out. The backup McCoy could be out. Richardson, the running back, could be out. The Steelers might sit Roethlisberger. I don't know what to make of this game. It's a big rivalry, but both teams are out of it. I'll take the Steelers just because I think if Charlie Batch quarterbacks, I think the Steelers will show some life. They beat the Ravens with Charlie Batch a few weeks ago. I think they'll beat Cleveland with Charlie Batch. I don't expect Roethlisberger to play. Let's move on. Let's go to Denver. The Denver Broncos at home, -16 over the hapless Kansas City Chiefs. This is an easy one to pick. The Broncos are rolling. They need this game. They still have a shot at top seed if Houston is to lose. I like Denver to roll over Kansas City. There's nothing to like about Kansas City, especially on the road. Their last 2 road games, they've been obliterated. Take Denver here and go with that. No problem. Denver should roll. Let's move on. Let's go to Minnesota. The Green Bay Packers, -3 over the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota wins. They're in the playoffs. Green Bay needs the game to hold on to that 2 seed. Very tricky game. Green Bay is getting hot. They're very dangerous. Minnesota is at home needing the game. I think it's a close game. I'll take Minnesota with the 3 points. I say it's a close game either way. Field goal either way. I'll take Minnesota. They have a little bit more to play for. They are at home. They will be a little bit more desperate. Green Bay is already in the playoffs. They're just playing for seeding. Minnesota playing for their playoff lives. I'll take the Vikings at home. Expect Adrian Peterson to have a big day. All right, let's go up to New England. The New England Patriots at home, -10 over the Miami Dolphins. New England has a chance to move up in seeding. They are in the playoffs. Dolphins have shown a little resiliency. They bounced back here. They're having a decent season. Tannehill looks good. He looks promising. I like the future for Miami. Very interesting game. The spread is 10. A little high for me. A little high for me. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take Miami here with the 10 points. I don't know how long New England's going to play their starters. Belichick usually likes to play them a long ways. He doesn't like the rest players. I'm going to take Miami here because I think the spread's a little too high at 10, 10.5. Miami's showing some life recently. Plus, I don't love New England's defense, and this is a big rivalry. I'll take a shot and take Miami here. All right, let's move on to San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers at home, -16 over the Arizona Cardinals. The Niners should shut out Arizona. I think Arizona is now going with their 4th different quarterback this year. San Francisco still has a shot at the 2 seed if they win and if Green Bay loses. Plus, San Francisco hanging on to the division by a half game. Need this game to win the division. Let's take San Francisco to shut out Arizona. Let's go to Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks at home, -10 over the St. Louis Rams. The Rams have been surprising this year. The Seahawks great at home. The Seahawks still have a shot at the division if they win and San Francisco loses. As much as I like St. Louis, I can't pick against Seattle at home. They've been that good at home all year. They blow out teams at home like 59-0. They blew out San Francisco by a big score. You can't pick against Seattle at home. Seattle's home here. I do like what I've seen from the Rams, but I'm taking Seattle because they're home. They need the game and because of those great fans. All right, and the big Sunday night game, the big game of the week, big rivalry, just a historic matchup here. The Washington Redskins at home, -3 over Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Winner wins the division. Dallas wins, they win the division. Dallas loses, they're out. Washington wins, they win the division. Washington can still get into the playoffs if they lose, but they would need a little help. So big, big game here. I'm going to take Washington because they're home. I don't like Dallas's defense, and Washington already beat Dallas in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. Must-watch TV. I don't care if you're a Redskin fan, a Cowboy fan, a Steeler fan, an Eagle fan, a Giant fan. Must-watch TV on Sunday. 2 classic teams, historic rivalry. Please tune into that game. I implore you to watch that game. So that's where we are for NFL Week 17. Like I said, very tricky week with these point spreads and who's playing, who's not playing, who needs the game, who doesn't, who's going to play a team a quarter, a half, who knows. Very tricky week in the NFL. Okay, so that takes care of your NFL for Week 17. Let's go over a little basketball. Last night, real quickly, a couple basketball scores. Atlanta Hawks beat the Detroit Pistons in double overtime. Milwaukee beat the Nets. The Nets continue to struggle. Pacers and the Bulls were snowed out. Houston beat Minnesota last night. Nice back-to-back for Houston. They beat Minnesota and Chicago back-to-back on the road. Not easy to do. Denver beat the Lakers, ended the Lakers' 5-game winning streak. Dwight Howard ejected in that game. And the Knicks beat the Suns. J.R. Smith, 2 big shots at the end of that game. 1 to tie, 1 to win it. And this was without Carmelo Anthony or Felton. So nice job by the Knicks. Felton could be out a few weeks with his injury. Carmelo day-to-day. Let's go to the State of the Union of the NBA. Let's quickly go through both conferences, and I'll tell you who's doing well, who's not, the records, all that kind of stuff. We're going from worst to best in the East. The Washington Wizards, 3-23. Still don't have John Wall. Still don't have many wins. They need Wall back. Cleveland, 7-23. I like Irving. I don't like much else from Cleveland. They need a lot of work. Detroit Pistons, 7-21. I mean, they are just not a good road team at all. They need a lot of help, Detroit. I mean, this is a long way off from the bad boy teams of yesteryear. Detroit's dropped a long way. They need to rebuild in the worst way. Toronto Raptors, they're another team going nowhere. They're 9-20. They're 2-15 on the road. Raptors going nowhere fast. Orlando, 12-16. We don't expect much from them. They lost Dwight Howard. It's amazing they've won 12 games. Philadelphia, 14-15. Still no Bynum. We still don't know when he's going to be back. Still no timetable on his injury. If you put Bynum on this Philadelphia team, you have a decent team. Without him, just a mediocre team. All right, Boston, 14-13. They give you all they have. Too much age on that team. Brooklyn, 14-14, really struggling. Avery Johnson, he could be on the hot seat. Lopez has to play better. Williams has to play better. Joe Johnson has to play better. Brooklyn needs to do a better job. I don't expect them to be an elite team. They have to do a better job than what they've been doing recently, playing lousy basketball recently. They lost again last night. Avery Johnson, watch out. You continue to lose, you're going to get fired. Milwaukee, 15-12. Nice backcourt, need a little help in the front court. Chicago Bulls, 15-12. Nice job considering Derrick Rose, their best player, hasn't played all year. They get him back. Watch out for the Bulls. They're going to be a good team. Indiana playing much better. They got off to a slow start. Indiana 16-12, and they still don't have Granger. So when Indiana gets Granger back, they will be even better. Remember, Indiana was a good team last year. Indiana's got a nice squad. Atlanta 17-9, still continues to do a nice job. Horford playing well. Joe Smith playing well. Really nice team in Atlanta. I like what I see from the Hawks. New York Knicks, again, continue to win. They win again last night. They're 21-8. You can't find too many things wrong with the Knicks this year. They've had a really nice season. I like Woodson as the coach. Carmelo Anthony playing like an MVP. Felton playing well. Bench playing well. Nice job by the New York Knickerbockers. And the Miami Heat, they are 20-6. They beat Oklahoma City the other day. Miami clearly the best team in the league, no doubt about it. Let's move on to the West. Worst to best. The New Orleans Hornets, 6-22, have a nice core of young players, but they need to develop, still need a lot of work there. Sacramento, 9-19. Sacramento needs to break up their core. They do have some guys that can do some things, but they just don't seem to gel. Somebody's got to go. Look for it to maybe be Evans. All right, also, Phoenix, 11-18. I don't expect much from them. I'm not getting much from them. They're 11-18, just what I think from them. Dallas, 12-16. Dirk Nowitzki back. They need him back playing well because without him, Dallas is not a good team at all. If he plays on a high level, Dallas could be a good team. Portland, 14-13, showing signs of life. They got off to a rough start. They're playing much, much better. They have a couple nice young players. They have some of the best fans in the NBA. So I like what Portland's doing recently. Lakers, 14-15. They had won 5 in a row. They lost last night. I still think the Lakers have major problems. I don't love the coach. I don't think he preaches defense. A lot of age on the team. They have a collection of stars. I mean, I don't love their bench. Don't like overall what I see from the Lakers. They are playing a little better despite the loss last night. Utah, 15-14. Right what I'd expect from Utah. They have some decent players. No superstar, though. Denver, just like Utah, 16-14. Nice collection of players. No superstar. It's a superstar league. Minnesota, 13-13. Are Love and Rubio ever healthy? Rubio finally comes back, then Love goes out against the Knicks with the eye injury. He doesn't play in that game. Love comes back. Need Love and Rubio playing together, healthy and playing together for a long time. It seems these two are never on the court at the same time for long. Someone always gets hurt. If you have a healthy Rubio, a healthy Love, you can do some things in Minnesota. Need those guys back and healthy. Houston doing a nice job. 16-12. Houston's playing good ball. I like Harden. I like Lynn. I like the big man in the middle. McHale's doing a nice job. Houston is an exciting team. Like what I see from Houston. They're playing a lot better. Golden State continues to be a surprise team in the league, 18-10, and that's without Bogert. Mark Jackson doing a tremendous job up for Coach of the Year. Memphis, 18-8, really nice team. What worries me about Memphis is, like I said before about a couple other teams, they have some all-stars, no superstar. There's a superstar league. There's a league with the Kobe Bryants and the LeBron Jameses and the Dwayne Wades, the Michael Jordans. Those are the teams that win titles. Memphis doesn't have a guy like that. That's going to come back to bite them in the end. San Antonio, always solid, always plays hard, always prepared, always well coached. They're 22-8. We all like San Antonio. They have too much age on them. That's going to get them in the playoffs. Oklahoma City, 21-6. One of the best teams in the NBA, probably the second best team in the NBA right now behind Miami, who they just lost to. Oklahoma City's got to figure out a way to get past Miami. That's their stumbling block. We'll see if Oklahoma City can do it. And then the top seed in the West right now, the LA Clippers, they are 22-6. They've won 14 in a row. Blake Griffin playing well. Chris Paul playing well. Crawford playing well. I really like the Clipper team. Do I think they can win the title this year? No, but they're playing really good. They are a contender. I still don't think they're as good as Miami or Oklahoma City, but they're getting close. I like what I see from the Clippers. Okay, so that is your State of the Union in the NBA. Now remember, this is my last show for this year. I will not be back with you until January 2nd. So let's go over some of the NBA's games to keep an eye on while I'm gone. All right. Thursday, tonight, you have Dallas at Oklahoma City. You have Boston at the Clippers. Friday, Houston at San Antonio. Clippers at Utah. Portland at the Lakers. Knicks at Sacramento. Saturday, Denver at Memphis. Oklahoma City at Houston. Miami at Milwaukee. Boston at Golden State. And then Sunday, you have San Antonio at Dallas. Utah at the Clippers. Monday, Memphis at Indiana. Miami at Orlando. Atlanta at Houston, Brooklyn at San Antonio, and Tuesday, New Year's Day, Clippers at Denver, Portland at the Knicks, Philadelphia at the Lakers. So those are some of your games coming up for the next few days because, like I said, I'm not going to be here after today until next Wednesday. So those are the games that you got to keep an eye on, while we're apart here. So those are some of the NBA games to keep an eye on. Also, college bowls. Let's go to the college bowls. Last night, Central Michigan in the Little Caesars Bowl beats Western Kentucky 24-21. They hang on. Western Kentucky goes for it on 4th and 2, deep in Central Michigan territory. They don't get it. Central Michigan hangs on. Western Kentucky could have tied the game there with a field goal. They decide to go for it. Gutsy call. They don't get it. Central Michigan wins. All right, some games to keep an eye on, like I said, while we're away. All right, tonight, Thursday, San Jose State against Bowling Green, the Military Bowl. That's at RFK in Washington. Also today, Cincinnati against Duke in the Belk Bowl, and Baylor against UCLA in the Holiday Bowl. Friday, you have Ohio and Louisiana Monroe in the Independence Bowl. You have Rutgers and Virginia Tech in the Russell Athletic Bowl. You have Minnesota and Texas Tech in the Meineke Car Care Bowl of Texas. Saturday, Rice and Air Force Armed Forces Bowl. Saturday again, West Virginia Syracuse at Yankee Stadium, the Pinstripe Bowl. Also Saturday, Navy Arizona State Craft Fight Hunger Bowl. Also Saturday, Alamo Bowl, Texas Oregon State. And also Saturday, TCU Michigan State, the Wild Wings Bowl. Monday, you have NC State Vanderbilt, the Music City Bowl. USC Georgia Tech, the Sun Bowl. And the Liberty Bowl also on Monday. Iowa State, Tulsa. Also on Monday, this is New Year's Eve. Very nice game. I know it's New Year's Eve, but a really nice game. One of the few decent games I've talked about. LSU Clemson, the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta, always a fun game. And then Tuesday, your New Year's Day games, Mississippi State against Northwestern in the Gator Bowl. I like Northwestern there. Also New Year's Day, Oklahoma State against Purdue in the Dallas Bowl. I like Oklahoma State to roll there. Still Tuesday, New Year's Day, South Carolina against Michigan in the Outback Bowl. Very nice game. I like South Carolina's defense to carry the day there. The Rose Bowl, Wisconsin and Stanford. I like Stanford. I don't like this Wisconsin team at all. Northern Illinois against Florida State in the Orange Bowl. You got to like Florida State there. That's also Tuesday. And also Tuesday, Georgia, Nebraska in the Capital One Bowl. I like Georgia. I can't take Nebraska after they gave up 70 points in the Big Ten title game to Wisconsin. Can't take them. So those are some of your bowl games. When I get back next week, we're going to do the Sugar Bowl. That's, the 2nd, next Wednesday. That's Louisville, Florida. Also the 3rd, you have Oregon, Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. January 4th, A&M, Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. Then you got a couple small games, January 5th and January 6th, Pitt, Ole Miss, Kent State, Arkansas State. And then the following Monday after that, January 7th, you're going to have your big national title game, Alabama, Notre Dame. We'll take care of those bigger bowl games next week when I get back. But I want to touch on some of the games you should keep an eye on. Also, real quick, let's go through your college basketball top 25. Let's do that real quick if I could find my notes. Where are my college basketball top 25? Yeah, here we go. I found them. All right, 2 teams out of the college basketball top 25. New Mexico is out of the top 25, and North Carolina, believe it or not, out of the top 25. Hard to believe North Carolina is out of the top 25. Number 25, Kansas State. They had a big win against Florida. They are number 25 now. Pitt back in the top 25. They're number 24. NC State, they're number 23. Number 22, Oklahoma State. Number 21, Notre Dame. Number 20, UNLV. Number 19, Michigan State. Number 18, Butler. Number 17, San Diego State. They had that tough loss to Arizona and Hawaii. Number 16, Creighton, some of the best fans in all of college basketball. Number 15, Georgetown. I feel like they've been 15 all year. Number 14, Florida. They had a tough week, Florida. They lost a heartbreak at Arizona out in Tucson, a game they should have won. They blew at the end. Then they played Kansas State and Kansas City and lost to them. So tough week for Florida. They are much better than 14, actually. Number 13, Gonzaga. We all love their program. Number 12, Illinois. They lost to Missouri, their arch rival. Illinois got a nice team, though. The Big Ten is loaded. Number 11, Minnesota, another Big Ten team. Number 10, Ohio State, yet another Big Ten team. They lost at home to Kansas. Number 9, Syracuse. They lost to Temple, so they dropped from 3 to 9. Number 8, Cincinnati, gritty, gutty team. They keep climbing in the rankings. Number 7, Missouri. They beat Illinois. Like I said, they're up to 7. Number 6, Kansas, after their big win at Ohio State. Number 5, Indiana, major contender this year. Number 4, Louisville. Rick Pitino, another really good team. Number 3, Arizona. They beat Florida and San Diego State in the same week. Great job by Arizona. Number 2, Michigan. Love the coach Beeline. Love the way they play. And number 1, Duke. They've been solid all year. No one's got a better collection of wins than Duke. So that's your college basketball top 25. Real quickly before I go, here are some college basketball games to keep an eye on while I'm gone. Tonight, New Mexico at Cincinnati. Very nice game. Cincinnati's got a very solid team. New Mexico does as well. Friday, Missouri at UCLA. Baylor at Gonzaga. Saturday, Kentucky at Louisville. Just an outstanding rivalry. I know Kentucky isn't that good this year with all the freshmen. They're going to get better, though. Big-time rivalry, though. And Saturday, also, UNLV at North Carolina. Another game to keep an eye on. Also, a women's game on Saturday. UConn against Stanford. Keep an eye on that game. Big women's game. Monday, couple games to keep an eye on. Indiana at Iowa. Cincinnati at Pitt. Michigan State at Minnesota. And Gonzaga at Oklahoma State. So there you go. We went through the NFL. We went through the picks. We went through who needs the game, who doesn't, all that kind of stuff. I went through the NBA. I gave you the records of everyone. I gave you some NBA games to keep an eye on. I went through the bowl games, all the games to keep an eye on there. And there's a million bowl games. I understand a lot of them aren't that good until next week in the title game. But you can keep an eye on that. And we went through the college basketball top 25 and some games to keep an eye on while I'm gone. Like I said, this is my last show for this week and my last show for this year. When I talk to you again, it will be Wednesday, and we will be in 2013, believe it or not. 2013. Hard to believe. I'm talking about how fast the NFL season goes by. How fast do years go by? 2013. I remember when we just hit the year 2000 with all that Y2K stuff and everyone was worried about that. That was 13 years ago. Hard to believe. So that's that. You guys have a safe, happy New Year's weekend. You guys stay safe out there. New Year's is a wild time. Stay safe. Enjoy the games. Definitely watch some of these great games I told you to keep an eye on. You got your NFL, your NBA, your college bowls, your college basketball, a ton of sports. Next week, I will be back with you Wednesday, January 2nd. We'll recap everything that's gone on from now until over the weekend. We'll go through everything that transpired. Then I'll also be back with you next Thursday. We'll go through the NFL playoff games and all that kind of stuff. And the week after, we'll have a regular schedule. So there you go. You guys have a safe New Year's. I will talk to you next year. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Take care.